Far beyond the stars, in a part of the galaxy ruled by a mighty empire, lived the alien queen. Her name was Lyrana, and she was known as a wise and strong leader. Her empire stretched over many planets and star systems. Her people were proud and skilled, especially in war and politics. But even with all her power, there was one thing she admired most: human warriors. To Queen Lyrana, humans were almost like stories from old legends. Her people had heard tales passed down for generations about the humans' courage and fighting spirit. The stories said humans could fight harder than any other species, survive battles that would break others, and never give up no matter what. Some called humans the warriors born from fire. But no alien had ever met a real human warrior in person. Only stories. In the great hall of her palace, the walls were decorated with flags and paintings of battles and heroes. The queen sat on her throne, listening to her advisors. One of them, a tall alien named Vesh, spoke with respect. "Your Majesty, the humans send a message. They want to speak with us. This could be important." Lyrana nodded, her golden eyes sharp and calm. "Humans. I have waited long to see one in person. I want to know if these stories are true." Far away on a human colony called New Terra, a young warrior named Kale was preparing for his mission. Kale was not a leader yet, but he had trained hard since he was a child. He was strong, smart, and brave. His people called him a rising star among human warriors. Kale's home was a busy city filled with tall buildings and machines. Despite the peace, Kale always kept his weapons ready and trained every day. He wanted to be ready for anything. When the message from the alien empire arrived, Kale was chosen to be part of the group that would travel to the alien capital. Among the delegation, Kale was the only true warrior. The day Kale left, his family and friends gathered to say goodbye. "Be careful," his mother said, holding his hand tightly. "You carry the hope of all humans." Kale smiled. "I will make you proud. I will show them who we are." The journey to the alien empire's capital was long. Kale and the others traveled in a great ship, crossing star systems and dark space. As they approached the alien homeworld, Kale felt both nervous and excited. When they arrived, the alien capital was like nothing Kale had seen before. Towering structures shone with strange lights, and flying ships moved like fish in a deep sea. The air was thick with the hum of technology. Aliens of many kinds walked through the streets, but they all showed respect to the humans. The humans were guests of the queen herself. Kale was led to the palace, a huge building with high ceilings and walls made of shining crystal. There, Queen Lyrana waited. She was tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered like metal and eyes that seemed to look into your soul. Around her stood her guards and advisors. The queen's voice was calm but full of power. "You are the human warrior they speak of?" she asked Kale. Kale stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "Yes, Your Majesty. I am Kale of New Terra. I come with respect and hope for peace." Lyrana smiled slightly. "I have heard many stories of your kind. You are said to be strong, fearless, and never to surrender. But stories can be false. I will see if the truth stands before me." She stood and walked toward Kale, looking him over carefully. "You carry weapons different from ours. You move with a different strength. Show me your skill." Kyle nodded and prepared himself. He knew this moment was important, not just for him, but for all humans. He wanted to show that humans were not just stories, but real warriors. The queen's advisors cleared a space in the great hall. The court gathered to watch. Kyle took out a small training weapon, light and simple compared to alien arms. The queen raised her hand, signaling the start of the test. Suddenly, a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a simulated enemy. an alien warrior with heavy armor and powerful weapons. The test was to defeat this hologram using skill and strategy, not just strength. Kale moved quickly. He studied the hologram's patterns and weaknesses. He dodged powerful strikes and used his agility to get close. He struck with precise blows, aiming for the hologram's weak points. The crowd watched in silence, surprised at how a simple human weapon could handle such an advanced enemy. After several minutes, Kale landed the final strike. The hologram disappeared, the hall filled with whispers. The queen looked pleased, but did not show it openly. "Impressive," Lyrana said. "You fight with more than strength. You use your mind. That is rare among warriors." Kale bowed again. "Thank you, Your Majesty. My people have learned that strength alone is not enough. We must think and adapt." The queen studied him for a moment longer. "You have passed the first test, but there is more to this meeting than show of skill. There are dangers in my empire. You will see them soon." As the day ended, Kale was led to his quarters in the palace. He felt tired, but proud. He had taken the first step to prove humans were not just legends. That night, Kale looked out the window at the alien city lights. He wondered what challenges lay ahead and what the true purpose of his mission was. He did not know that soon his courage and strength would be tested in ways no story had told before. The next morning, Kale woke early. The sunlight of the alien world was different, softer, with colors he had never seen before. He felt the weight of what was coming. The queen had said there was more to his visit than just a test of skill. Kale knew this mission could change everything between humans and the alien empire. The palace was alive with activity. Aliens moved quickly through the halls, preparing for a special event. Kale was told today he would face another challenge, a test that many warriors from other species had failed. This test was meant to show not only strength, but also courage, intelligence, and heart. His guide, Sarah, came to his room. Sarah was a warrior and a guard of the queen. She was tall, with silver skin and eyes like shining stars. She spoke softly, but with confidence. "Kyle, you are ready. The trial will begin soon. It is called the Path of Shadows. Many have tried and failed. It is a test of endurance and will." Kale nodded. "I am ready to face it. Tell me more." Sarah smiled slightly. The Path of Shadows is a series of challenges inside an ancient temple. The temple is full of traps, puzzles, and illusions. It will test your mind and body. You must reach the center to prove your worth. As they walked through the palace, gardens toward the temple, Kyle saw strange plants that glowed with soft light and heard the hum of unknown machines. The alien city outside was busy and alive, but here in the palace grounds, the silence was deep and heavy. The temple was massive, made of black stone that seemed to drink the light. Its entrance was wide and dark. As Kyle stepped inside, the doors closed behind him with a loud sound. He was alone now. The first chamber was empty except for a series of glowing symbols on the floor. Kyle studied them carefully. The symbols seemed to change and shift. He realized they formed a puzzle. He moved his hands over the symbols, pressing some in order. After a few tries, a door opened ahead. The next room was filled with strange shadows moving on the walls. They seemed alive, reaching out as Kale walked. He stayed calm and focused. He knew the shadows were illusions meant to scare him. He took a deep breath and stepped through. Suddenly, the ground shook and a trap was triggered. Walls started to close in slowly. Kyle ran toward a small opening just before the walls would crush him. His heart raced, but his mind stayed clear. He slipped through the opening and found himself in a narrow corridor. Kyle's training had prepared him for this. He moved quietly and carefully, watching for more traps. He came to a room where light and darkness played tricks on his eyes. He saw visions of battles, screams, and faces of people he loved. It was a test of his spirit. He closed his eyes and remembered why he was here. Not just for himself, but for his people. With that thought, the illusions faded. A hidden door opened. The final chamber was large and bright. In the center stood a pedestal with an ancient weapon resting on it. It was an alien sword, glowing with blue light. Kyle approached carefully. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the room. "Only the worthy may take the blade. Show your strength and heart." At that moment, a holographic alien warrior appeared. It was huge, armored, and fierce. The warrior attacked with fast, powerful strikes. Kale dodged and blocked, using everything he had learned. The hologram was strong, but Kale fought with skill and determination. After a long battle, Kale saw an opening. He struck with the sword he carried, but not to harm. He used the enemy's strength against it, sending the hologram flying backward. The image disappeared. The voice spoke again, softer now. "You have passed the path of shadows. You have strength, courage, and a wise heart. The alien queen will see this." Kyle took the alien sword from the pedestal. It felt light in his hand, as if it belonged to him. He understood the meaning. It was a sign of respect and trust. As he left the temple, Kyle met Sarah waiting outside. "You did well," she said with a rare smile. "The queen will want to speak with you soon." Back in the palace, Kale was brought to the queen's private chamber. Lyrana sat calmly, watching him with interest. "You have proven yourself." "Kyle," she said, "not many can finish the path of shadows. Your strength and heart are real." Kale bowed. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored." The queen looked serious. "There is a threat to my empire. A group of rebels wants to overthrow me. They believe the humans are dangerous and want to use them as weapons or destroy them." Kale's eyes narrowed. "This rebellion is strong?" Lyrana nodded. "Yes. They hide in the shadows and have allies inside the palace. I need warriors I can trust. Humans have skills and courage that can help us." Kale felt a heavy weight on his shoulders. This was more than a test. It was a call to action. "I will help," Kale said firmly. "My people want peace, but we will fight if we must." The queen smiled, a rare warmth in her eyes. "Then you and I have a long road ahead." Later, Kyle met more members of the alien court. Some looked at him with respect, others with suspicion. He noticed whispers and glances. Not all aliens trusted the humans. That night, Kyle and Sarah talked quietly in the palace gardens. The stars shone bright, and strange flowers glowed around them. "Why do you help me?" Kyle asked. Sarah looked away for a moment. "Because I believe in peace. The rebellion wants war and chaos. I want to stop that. You are a symbol of hope." Kyle nodded. "Then we will stand together." As they spoke, a shadow moved near the trees. Unknown to them, eyes watched from the darkness. The rebellion was closer than they thought. Kale's journey was just beginning. The legends of human warriors were no longer stories. They were real, and soon the whole empire would see. The days after Kyle's successful trial passed quickly, but the feeling of unease grew heavier. The alien empire's palace was beautiful and full of wonders, but beneath its shining surface, danger lurked in the shadows. Kyle spent much time learning about the empire, its people, and its politics. The alien queen, Lyrana, trusted him more each day. She often invited Kale to her private chambers to talk about the future and the growing threat of the rebellion. One morning, Kale stood before the queen once again. Her expression was serious. "The rebellion grows stronger," she said. "They want to end my rule and destroy all who support peace. They believe humans are the enemy." Kyle frowned. "Why do they fear humans so much?" Lyrana sighed. Because they see humans as unpredictable. Our people have fought many wars, but humans fight with something else. They fight with heart. This scares them. Kyle thought deeply. Then they must be stopped before they hurt anyone. The Queen nodded. I need your help, Kyle. You know your people's ways. You understand courage and honor. I want you to work with my loyal guard, Sarah, to find the rebels and stop them. Kyle agreed without hesitation. He felt this was his true mission, to protect peace, not only for humans, but for these aliens who had welcomed him. Kyle and Sarah began their secret work. They moved quietly through the palace halls, gathering information. Sarah introduced Kale to her closest allies, warriors and spies loyal to the Queen and her cause. Among these allies was Kellen, a sharp-eyed scout, and Mira, a skilled healer, who knew the palace's secret passages well. Together, the group searched for signs of rebellion. One night, Kyle sat with Sarah in a hidden room beneath the palace. They studied maps and reports. The rebels have agents inside the court, Sarah said. They communicate through secret signals and hidden messages. We must find their leader. Kale's mind raced. We need proof before we act. The wrong move could start a war. Sarah nodded. I agree, but time is short. As they planned, Kale noticed small signs around him. Whispers when he passed, glances that quickly looked away. The palace was full of watchers, some friend, some foe. Days later, Kale was invited to a grand ceremony in the Queen's honor. The entire court gathered to celebrate peace and strength. It was the perfect moment for the rebels to act. Kale stood by the Queen's side as she spoke to the crowd. Her voice was strong, full of pride and hope. But as the ceremony went on, Kale felt eyes on him, dangerous eyes. He whispered to Sarah, "Something is wrong." Suddenly, alarms blared through the hall. Shouts filled the air, the doors burst open, and armed rebels stormed inside. Chaos erupted. Palace guards rushed to protect the Queen. Kyle drew his weapon and fought beside Sarah. The rebels were fierce and well-trained, showing they had allies inside the court. Kyle moved through the battle with calm and skill. He protected the Queen and fought the rebels with all his strength. The humans' reputation as warriors came alive in every strike and dodge. Amid the fighting, Kyle caught sight of the rebellion's leader, a tall alien with dark armor and cold eyes. The leader moved with deadly grace, commanding the rebels. Kale charged toward the leader, blocking attacks and pushing forward. The two warriors clashed in a fierce duel. The sounds of metal against metal echoed in the hall. Kyle's heart pounded, but he stayed focused. He used his speed and tactics to outmaneuver the leader. With a final move, Kyle disarmed him and held his weapon at the leader's throat. The leader glared, but said nothing. Guards rushed in to capture the rebels. The Queen's voice came through the noise. "Well done, Kyle. You have saved my life and the Empire." Kyle lowered his weapon and nodded. "The fight is not over, but this battle is won." In the quiet after the fight, Kale and Sarah spoke with the Queen. She explained the rebellion's goal, to destroy peace and control the Empire through fear. They wanted to use the humans' presence to create chaos. Kale understood the challenge ahead. The rebels were dangerous and determined, but so was he. "I will stay and help," Kale said firmly. "I will protect this empire and its people." The Queen smiled. "You have become more than a legend, Kale. You are a true warrior of this empire." As Kale looked around the palace, he realized something important. The legends of humans were true, but now he must live up to them, not just as a warrior, but as a protector and leader. The war was far from over, but Kale was ready. The palace was no longer a place of peace. The recent attack had shaken everyone. Guards doubled their patrols, and the Queen's advisors held long meetings. Kyle knew the rebellion would not stop. They would try again, and soon. Kale spent days training with Sarah and the loyal guards. They prepared for battle, learning each other's fighting styles. The humans fought with speed and courage, while the aliens used strength and advanced technology. Together, they became a stronger force. One evening, as the sun set behind the distant stars, Kale stood on the palace walls with Sarah. The sky was a deep purple, and the city below was quiet. But Kale's mind was full of worry. "The rebels will strike again," he said. "We must be ready." Sarah nodded. "They hide in the shadows. We do not know when or where." Suddenly a messenger arrived, breathless and urgent. "The rebels are inside the palace. They have taken the lower halls. The Queen is in danger." Kale's heart jumped. Without a word, he and Sarah rushed down to the palace halls. The corridors were filled with smoke and the sounds of battle. Alien warriors and human guards fought side by side against the rebels. Kale moved quickly, leading a group through the twisting halls. They pushed back the attackers, but the rebels fought with fury and skill. In the dark, Kyle spotted the rebellion's leader again. He carried a powerful energy blade and wore armor that shimmered with dark light. The leader's eyes met Kale's, full of hatred. "This ends tonight," Kyle said, gripping his weapon tighter. The leader laughed. "You think you can stop me, human? You are only one." Kyle didn't answer with words. He charged forward. The two clashed with force. Their weapons struck sparks, and the sound of metal ringing echoed through the hall. Kale dodged a heavy strike and countered with a quick blow. The leader moved fast, but Kale was faster. Using his training, Kale found a weakness in the leader's armor and struck. The leader stumbled but did not fall. He swung his blade in a wide arc, forcing Kale to jump back. Around them, the battle raged. Kale's friends fought bravely, pushing the rebels back step by step. Suddenly, the leader called for reinforcements. More rebels poured into the halls, surrounding Kale and his group. Kale's mind raced. He saw no way out but to fight with everything he had. With a shout, he charged again, cutting through the enemy lines. His human spirit burned bright, never giving up, never backing down. Sarah and the guards followed, fighting hard. Together they broke the rebel formation. Finally, Kale faced the leader alone in a large chamber. The leader raised his blade for a final strike. Kale dodged and countered with a strong blow that knocked the weapon from the leader's hand. Kale pressed forward and held the leader at sword point. "It's over." The leader's face was fierce but proud. "You may win this fight, human, but the war is not finished." Kale did not lower his weapon. "Neither will I." With the rebels defeated, the palace began to calm. The queen appeared standing tall and proud. "You have done what many could not," Layrana said. "You have shown what it means to be a true warrior." Kale bowed. "I only did what was needed." The queen looked around at her loyal guards and Kale's human warriors. "Today, we have not only saved the Empire but built a new trust. Humans and aliens can stand together." The court cheered, and for a moment, hope filled the air. Later, Kale and Sarah stood once more on the palace walls, looking out at the stars. "We have won a battle," Kale said, "but there will be more. The rebels will not give up." Sarah smiled softly. "Then we will be ready. Together." Kyle felt a deep sense of belonging. He was no longer just a warrior from a distant world. He was part of something bigger, a future where humans and aliens fought as one. The battle had ended, but the palace still carried the weight of the conflict. The halls were quieter now, yet the memory of the fight lingered in every corner. Kale walked beside Queen Layrana in the grand hall, where the people of the Empire had gathered to hear her words. The queen's voice echoed through the room, steady and full of hope. "Today we faced darkness and danger. We saw betrayal and fear. But we also saw courage, strength, and unity. The humans who stood with us proved that legends are not just stories. They are real. Kale watched the crowd. Aliens from many worlds looked at him with respect and awe. They no longer saw humans as distant myths or threats. They saw them as allies. The queen turned to Kyle. You, Kale of New Terra, have shown us the true meaning of a warrior. You fought not only with weapons but with heart and honor. You stand before me not just as a visitor, but as a friend. Kyle bowed deeply. It is an honor to serve your majesty. I stand with your people, as we all stand together. As the ceremony ended, Kale felt a new sense of purpose. He was part of something greater, a beginning of peace between two great peoples. In the days that followed, Kale worked closely with Queen Lorana and her advisors. They formed new plans to strengthen the alliance between humans and aliens. Trade routes opened, technology was shared, and warriors trained together. But Kale never forgot the battle or the rebels who still lurked in the shadows. He knew that peace was fragile and must be protected. One evening, Kyle and Sarah walked through the palace gardens. The air was cool, and strange glowing flowers lit their path. You have changed this empire, Kyle, Sarah said quietly. Your courage has inspired many, Kyle smiled. I only did what any warrior would do. Sarah looked at him with warmth. No, you did more. You built trust where there was fear. You brought hope where there was doubt. Kyle stopped and looked up at the stars. I hope our peoples can live together, not just as allies, but as friends. Sarah nodded. That future is possible. As weeks passed, Kyle received news from his home planet. Humans celebrated the stories of the alien empire and their new friendship. Songs were written, and children dreamed of the stars. Kyle's name became known in both worlds, a symbol of courage and peace. But Kale remained humble, knowing that true strength came from unity. One day, the queen invited Kale to a private meeting. Kale, she said, the galaxy is changing. New dangers may come, but together we will face them. Your presence here has shown that humans and aliens can build a future where all can thrive. Kale nodded. I am ready for whatever comes. The queen smiled. Then this is only the beginning of our story. As Kale prepared to continue his journey, he felt a deep pride. The legends about humans were true, but now new legends were being written. Legends of friendship, bravery, and hope. Kyle looked once more at the alien sky. He knew the road ahead would be long, but with trust and courage, anything was possible.